Welcome on back to Valorant Challengers, presented to you by Nerd Street Gamers. My name is Upmine, joined here by Sully, and Map 3 is about to kick off in just a little bit between Equinox and Complexity. But Sully, we have quite a bit to talk about in terms of map number 2, but one player to really open things up in that map was none other than Mina.
Yeah, Mina and Sharky, they were butting heads the entire map long. Ascent, I mean, this is the highlight from Sharky. I mean, the dude was popping off of the Sheriff. He had some absolutely insane plays. Then Mina's 4K Judge, if we don't have a replay for that, then riot all we want. But geez, I mean, it was a battle between the both of them. It felt like it went back and forth in the first half. Then the second half, Equinox, they started to peel away just a little bit. I mean, this entire second map was just a highlight reel for the both of them. And Ascent was a very close game. We said from the get-go that Complexity, the only realistic way I saw them from the beginning of this series was they need to 2-0 this. But now I'm a believer, right? You said that this is the first open qualifier. Anything can happen. We don't know if Complexity have put in extraneous amounts of time here on Split. In the past, they've only played this map 10 times in their career history. And in recent times, they've only played 2 maps in the past 2 months. So statistically, it doesn't look good for Complexity. But I said that from the get-go, and well, they have surprised us here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Mina really opening things up at the very end of things in terms of highlight plays, but it was really consistent throughout the entire map. That's really been the story between both of these two teams for really the last 2 maps, but there's always 1 or 2 players to really point at. It was Mina still for map number 1 and still map number 2. For Complexity, it's flip-flop between really Sharky and Jonah P, but those are just, you know, the things that we can really strike out and say. Instead, now, Complexity, they had a lot more interactability with their util in a sense. Of course, we saw the Omen and the Killjoy really come out huge. AGM, a person that didn't have too many opportunities for frags, he was really the person making up as much space as possible for Complexity on that attacking side in the second half, and that really ended up giving them the bulk of their rounds. However, Equinox still finding out a couple of spots for them to really break through the Complexity attack in a sense, or really just shut them down early. That's really what made things happen. But here on Split, folks, things get a little bit more muddy in a sense.
Yeah, already off the bat, you see Equinox on the left side selecting the Sage. This is where things can change now. Complexity on the flip side, they've been running a Sky for as long as time can remember. The 10 maps they've played, most of them have always had a Sky, at least with the patch with the addition of Sky. So Equinox, things can get muddy like you said, but this game is going to be intense regardless. I'm a believer. You never know what can happen here. Map number 3 is getting underway, and Equinox, to be completely honest, the first map was a surprise. The second map was a barn burner. Now here on Split, anything can go as we have got a game on our hands.
Anything can happen. Anyone can start fragging. But according to Twitch chat, we had a poll going up. Who is going to have more kills by the half? Jonah P or Tex? I mentioned Mina before, but Tex has really been the consistent fragger. And people said that Jonah P is going to come out successful by the half between the two. So I don't know about that one. Jonah P just had a really good performance in a sense, still consistent, but Tex is really the one that I'm going to be looking out forward to on Split. I feel like this one would be, I guess, in a solo sense, one that he'll be a little bit more comfortable on rather than Jonah P, especially with Jonah playing up on the Sky.
Here we go now. Complexity on the attack. Early blast pack to at least throw off anybody taking an early peek. Obviously, the changes have definitely made this a much more viable option for the attack, so keep Fatboy playing around that second step stool. What can he find? Trailblazer goes out. They've got the info. They're going to try and flush him out with nades, and yep, cute Fatboy's got to run. No smokes dropped just yet. Instead, a slow warp to try and delay. They hold themselves up in the mailroom of the wall. And Complexity off of this contact will take things slow, and they're going to spread themselves out and see where they can get, as they do still have a turret that'll give them info if anyone's gone aggressive back towards A.
Again, the Sage pickup for Equinox. I mean, it's as stereotypical as you can get right over towards mid, but Mina, 2 rounds in a row! I mean, 2 games in a row, picks up the shorty and goes absolutely huge, but then still has the shotgun in a sense, but in the form of a classic. 3K for Mina, AGM, the last one remaining, and oh boy, Complexity. They just get shambled in mid.
Yeah, well, if there's a start for Mina, I've never seen one better. straight off the bat, a 3K. Lovely presence with that shorty. Switching back to the classic. Complexity are going to be stunned by this kind of play. I mean, the first, so lucky it's a one-shot. Then to get Sharky on 1 HP with the second off the shorty. Everything played right there for Equinox, and they get it done. First round is on their side, but we know Complexity. They love to full buy, and they're going for a full push in the A site with 5 stingers in their hands.
5 stingers and a hope, right? Complexity. Full control of the ramp side. There's one person that was in heaven, but now trying to play a little bit more site-centric. A Boombot. He's going to clear up a little bit of space, especially in terms of the elevator lineup, or at least the transition into heaven. But, well, really nothing. They don't take too much heaven control until really the last moment, and there you go, oh hi. That's why he wanted to take his time in heaven. He pops out through the smoke. In the matter of 2 seconds, he's able to get himself the frags needed for Complexity to make their way on site. But DXN, I mean, shotguns ahoy on this map. Gets a kill off the Bucky, upgrades, well, upgrades more than likely to a stinger. But now Ohai still continuing that frag streak. Gets himself a third. Now it's Cute Fat Boy in a 1v2. Gonna be able to spot out one. Really, both players are over towards elbow, but he still has no clue in a sense. Another Sky Flash, but it's not going to hit out CFB. Instead, now he just has to play in this wide angle, and he's able to get the first 46 HP, and not able to get the headshot onto Jonah P. Jonah gets it in the end of things, but oh hi, he was the instigator. Here was the one that made the space.
Complexity have won 3 of 3 attacking side second round full buy conversions. Wow, Complexity, they've got something about them when it comes to full buys. I don't know what it is, but they always end up turning up. Equinox, this is their save. Mina, obviously with that 3K in the beginning, round loss of 4th, will charge up the ultimate, and we'll be able to use the Blade Storm. A light buy, if you will, for the side of Equinox. Cute Fat Boy dipping deep into his pockets to pull out a Sheriff. And now Complexity, this should be their bonus. They should try and at least convert this into a second round bonus after this one, as Jonah P peeking out towards mid. The extend wall broken instantly. Now Complexity with heavy pressure down towards mid. They understand that this is such a crucial part of their game, and Equinox in the past have put a heavy emphasis with that solo play, that solo Sage Wall. It comes in handy, huge, an XP3 and a solo play. Able to pick up Pancakes. There's a huge frag, and now they basically have a control here with only one player watching. It'll be Tex, but they're wrapping all the way through elevator.
Wrapping an elevator. Tex had the first lineup, but not able to get anything. Mina actually with a big kill onto Ohai, but even then, TXN.
Oh.
2 rounds in a row with a Bucky. Not able to do much. Still 2 frags back, but Complexity able to really take that one up with ease. I mean, it was expected already, but Equinox can put up a whole lot more of a fight going into this next one. Especially with the rifles, but looking at their setup here, Silly, it's a little bit looser over towards the B site.
Yeah, they're going to try and have Mina go for early info. You can jump on top of, I think, that second box.
No, yeah, no, the Cypher is going back to B, so gonna have to go back on that. They are gonna have some util.
Yeah, so they have a little bit of util in elevator to at least accommodate the fact that Tex isn't gonna full focus, and they might not have invested as Sage Roll just because of that trip. They just want info if anyone's going into elevator. So yeah, they sit in the back. Cute Fat Boy with a nice angle spots the first. Mina's got the info. Same with Cute Fat Boy. They're playing a nice little crossfire. But one Flash's ultimate taking those Seekers go big. Oh, double kill though from 2. And Mina dashing on away and updrafting up, able to create a lot of space. It's just one. Great hold from them both. Mina going big once more. XP3 in a very difficult position now in the 1v5.
So unfortunate from Ohai, and I said before that Equinox, they would try to lock down a little bit more on site, and indeed they did. Way better at the very end of things, and even Cute Fat Boy at the end of things, barely able to get that ult orb. So now, the neural threat's going to be able to get pulled out to really any round now, but going back to Complexity really feels bad for Ohai. Purely because, again, he had the showstopper. He might have actually been able to open up a little bit more space over towards the back of sight. But because of the pathing and just purely because of how crazy Mina actually was in terms of movement, just couldn't get anything done. No return frags for Complexity. That's really something that they have to just depend on for the rest of this attacking side. And, well, now Equinox. I said before that their B site hold was a little bit looser. They've actually switched up the Cypher, the controller in a sense, going all the way back over towards A just to launch out a whole lot of util. But that's actually a great combo on the wall mid.
Yeah, break it down instantly. DXN will try and quell any pushes. Like you said, the Cypher, in a sense, the controller of the A site, will try and lock it down alongside Tex. But this is the mid presence, the complexity I put an emphasis on. And DXN Sage utility was never going to be enough. Now complexity, they got info, but they're playing a double trip up in heaven. They realize the presence that this complexity I've been putting. So they are going to try and adjust at least. Cute Fat Boy and Tex holding it down, but here comes the wrap. They see the trip. At least they're wary of it. Clear things out. They've got info here. And now they need to be scared. Equinox with their backs turned, backs against the wall, no rotations in sight. These A players get a little paranoid, but complexity aren't committing. They're playing the waiting game at the moment.
Certainly biding time. Waiting to see if they can really catch anyone off. But this is, again, very evident of just a split in general, where you just have one person over towards heaven, and he doesn't exactly want to get off of his position. Stairs is going to stay fully in his control, but AGM, that's massive. Actually re-peaking that position of Mina. But DXN, he's the one with the full control of sight. XP3 with a good frag back. And not only that, but DXN, almost perfect timing from complexity, putting DXN off of his own, where he had to look out for really 3 angles at the same time. And that's a space for the spike to go down. So now 2 players remaining now for Equinox. The neural network could really go up if they actually do have a body over towards heaven, but really nothing of the sorts. Complexity, they could just hold this down with their pretty clean post-plant spots. They're going for a hard crossfire over towards main, and it actually doesn't work. XP3 goes for the drop. Still one more person remaining over towards heaven. How on earth does that break down? Cute Fat Boy wins his first battle. Same thing with a player on site. I mean, complexity. You gotta be kidding me with that loss.
It happens so quick. Equinox, they take the peaks, complexity look for the fights, and it just crumbles instantaneously. 2 players are dropped, an XP3 and a 1v2. That is so quick. They combine and they somehow make it work. Complexity are going to be broken after that one. Mentally and probably, obviously, economically, they don't have much to buy here. They don't have enough credits to force up a full buy. And Equinox, here's a chance to extend their lead and double the score of complexity and make it 4. Equinox, huge retake. And now complexity back to the tried and true fast play towards this site. Sharky, double updraft, no just a single, looking for something, but Ohai's created space towards the ramp. But Tex, he is just beneath them. Room but to try and delay. The XN will be kept back for now. Smokes down and everything to block Ohai. And great util usage here from Equinox to slow down the push and temper the complexity aggression.
And it's slow setup aggression, but in comes Tex. Oh, the hero rifle. He lives up to the name of it. Massive from Tex as he takes down 2. But now, oh, hi. Slipping on through in heaven. Nobody's watching out for this angle either. It's just going to be a one-on-one here on site. But it's such a crucial one. The last person is in such a tricky position over towards the back of sight. Not only that, but a smoke down. And the Jet, who was rotating, has slowly made his way into heaven. Ohai has grabbed the spike, has rotated back, and now they're going to anticipate a little bit of a rotation. And not only that, but Ohai can get a free frag, and with 35 seconds left, he has the full rotation. No teleport from the Omen. Ohai has played this out perfectly.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, and he's got a pain shell grenade as well. So much time to get the spike down, figure out where he wants to position himself. Drops it behind the tall box, the double stack, and Ohai, how does he play around this? He knows this is the A player. He is predicting this one perfectly. Ohai sitting behind the double. This slight change to split is what's giving him coverage. And they drop.
No way he checks this.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. No but Ohai whiffs! Pancakes pulls off the 1v1. Ohai so close, but so far with the spray. Equinox, they barely scraped through off of what was a thrifty buy from complexity.
I mean, I'm losing my mind over that. I mean, Ohai, so well routed in a sense, makes his way back over towards heaven through ramp off of that take. And I mean, it all came down to what was Equinox in that early start, right? Tex with a beautiful 2K. Ohai with that, again, with a beautiful frag up in heaven. But you gotta be kidding me with that. Ohai just wasn't ready. Almost something mentally in a sense, and couldn't focus on the spray. So instead now, Equinox They find themselves a little bit of space, a little bit of a cushion. It's 4-2 in Complexity. I mean, they might start to get desperate very soon, but they're still holding on to the rifles. They're still fairly confident. Still only 2 rounds separating the two, but oh my lord, Tex. That's so ballsy, and he's out of there. Almost unscathed. Yes, he takes on a little bit of damage, but that's the early frag that Equinox needed. In Complexity, they've been without opening entry frags in a whole while. So now they just wait up in P main. They're just waiting for any contacts. Tex, might he get more damage with the nade? This is starting to get nuts.
Lockdown available, AGM. That'll force players in the backside, but Tex is not one to fall away, or at least run away from a challenge. And as I say that, he literally runs away. Okay, so they're going to play retake here, a revive available, so they'll stick together, but they're not necessarily pushing off of it. XP3 with a deep paranoia into the back right of sight. Tex is lurking and waiting. 4-second smoke dropped to the back of the cloudburst, and Mina sitting and waiting alongside 2 other players. Jonah P just underneath. His position is going to be massive. Blinding light goes in, 1 goes out. No one yet to peek as Jonah P still sits underneath. Sharky as well was playing that angle, but they've dropped away. In comes Mina, flying through the sky, but Jonah P, blinding light, and he's blindsided them with 3. Jonah P to give Complexity a 3rd. Equinox were not ready for it, and his position did come indeed very handy for Complexity on the retake.
And again, that's just huge for Jonah. Head on a swivel, waiting out for the drop. And just, I mean, they did have people looking over towards that heaven area, but because of how heavily populated that spot actually was, and really with Mina opening up the space, Jonah already had a little bit of, I guess you could say, inadvertent eye over towards heaven. So he's able to really just focus down on that push. And if anything, it ended up giving out Equinox a little bit less space to really work with off the drop. I mean, executing on heaven on this map, especially on a retake, can get so dicey, especially if you have people in those off-angle positions. And just like this, ladies and gentlemen, Equinox, well, they have to readjust a little bit. A couple of pistols laying around too, with Tex on the Sheriff and looking out over towards mid. Spots one on the rifle barrel, but down to 48 HP, could still boot on a little bit of damage, and even a kill if he wants to, or a kill if he finds it. Sharky gets him back. Complexity has 2 already, with 1 flanking into sewer. That could have been massive, but instead Complexity has a whole lot more space. There's one on the B side too, kind of weird.
Yeah. Just chilling. AGM looking for any late lurks, trying to cut off rotations, but not in the best position because he as well has to rotate a long way. Pancakes, like you said, drops the spike. Huge play at least there. DXN up top has a revive, but elected not to use it on his fallen comrade. Elevator. XP3 with a late lurk into heaven. Yup, it's just a mowdown. Mina lucky to even get one in this position. Complexity cleaned it up nicely. 4-4, we're all tied up here, and they're on the attacking side of splits. However, I do like to add that, at least in this level of Valorant, the favoredness towards the defensive side, it kind of evens out, and I feel like we see it a lot more in the higher levels. So nothing to worry about. Equinox, though, back on the full buy. Mina has picked up the operator, but where does he like to take it?
No idea. Yeah, looks like he's cheating over towards the mid area, but again, Complexity with a whole lot more options. Again, they had the teleport in the last round too, so I mean that was really one of the options that gave me a little bit more security about Complexity. Even if their A take ended up failing, they could easily teleport back over to B, where AGM ended up having all of that info. But this is a weird spot for the wall, especially with DXN just kind of vibing on top of it. He has full real estate of it though. He could really just stay over and just wait for a couple of players from the Complexity side to walk it into the crosshairs, but another op shot is going to be missed out by Mina. Big flash too that could open up a little bit of mid area. But I think more importantly, Sully, there's really only 1 person over towards the A site. There's a couple of people kind of hovering around the B site, or hovering around the heaven area in a sense. But Ohai now on the showstopper, can't find anyone, just has to launch one out really at random. And that's just an awkward position, but they're still going to be able to at least get 1 frag off of it. In comes Tex, still able to get 2. DXN stuck in the smoke. Such a big opportunity to at least equalize the round, but instead, Complexity, with a scrappy win in heaven, able to take things back, with Cute Fat Boy being the last person remaining.
30 seconds left.
No bodies available for the neural theft either. He's in a tricky position now. Cute Fat Boy One player to his left, one deep behind him, and he doesn't even realize it. AGM again playing that lurk. And Cute Fat Boy, the first frag is his, however. He's got the info, knows where the third is going to be as well. Now, this is winnable. AGM up in the heaven. He knows where he is. Nanostorm out, but no. Cute Fat Boy can't get the frag. AGM with a Nanostorm is all he needed. 5-4, but Cute Fat Boy makes that one very, very dicey for Complexity.
Very possible, very dicey. I mean, God, Cute Fat Boy, what a great opportunity for him. I mean, he's really been hovering around really both A and B site throughout this entire game, and he's been consistently fragging. 11 kills for him thus far. He's on top of the server alongside Mina, but Equinox, they can't really catch a break. That was really their last opportunity, and they put all of their chances onto Cute Fat Boy. So instead, now Complexity on the attacking side of Splits. And again, like you mentioned, that whole defensive-sided I guess you could say nature, it has fallen out of fashion, especially in upper tier 1 play. But here for Complexity, there still are a couple of opportunities where things could fail out. They're on more of a default this round, Sully, something that we really haven't seen really at all this set.
No, not really. Oh, early Sage Roll as well, this time in a position that we haven't seen yet at all. Towards B main, covers the entire thing up, perfectly fits on in. EXN with only a Bucky in the back. Complexity, like you said, the default, playing patient. Free ult torp here as well. They can drop smokes. Allow at least some space for Jonah P. You see that smoke into heaven. That's going to draw players away from heaven for Equinox. And Jonah P, it's now down in just one crucial duel. Mina is lurking, but Sharky is aware of it and can spot him out easily. They're waiting. Jonah P's got the frag. This should be where the execution comes into play. The wall has now been broken. TP in the back from XP3. He will be canceled. And Pancake's underneath. The Bucky needs to go big, but it's not going to be enough. Jonah P caught out in mid. Sharky controls heaven, needs another frag, but drops away. 3v2 as a spike goes down.
This has gone way closer than expected. Equinox started this off with pistols, but now it's all theirs. AGM! He was fully on the move, and he got the first one, and quick on the reaction, and a little dance, to say the least. Equinox, what an opportunity, and it gets squandered by AGM, who has been relatively low fragging this far, but this man is a legend in the Counter-Strike scene, legend on the East Coast scene. He came into Valorant and hasn't exactly had his time to pop off, but there's no time than ever than the VCT, the double kill for AGM to finish things off, and now Equinox, well, they may have the buyback, but Complexity, they're hyped.
Yeah, they already have a guaranteed 6-6 scoreline. Equinox, such a rough setup. Like you said, they've got the buyback. Wall goes up. They're playing so much more passive. They're really relying on Mina's operator here. But Complexity have been able to run them over with their utility. Blinding lights have been perfect from Jonah P to get info and to cause disruption. Complexity running circles around Equinox. 4 ults. DXN has been holding on to just the one of the revive for so long. Tex is able to put down Jonah P. He was on low HP, however, so not too big of a deal. But Equinox, they are dispersing Complexity across the map and back to the A side. Just a little bit of a jiggle from Cute Fat Boy. Looking for anything he can get. He has a cage at the ready. Smokes down, but they will cross. Tex is now aware to that position, and Ohai's looking to clear a Boomba and a combo from AGM from the left side as well. The A site, they've done this split before, and they're going into the heavens. They're looking to take the A site, and there's nothing Equinox can do unless they want to give themselves up to these frags.
Complexity's out and away, but oh boy, Tex looking for some huge damage. But Cute Fat Boy like a clay pigeon, taking down Sharky and still going. Snagging down XP3, and now same thing with AGM. That's a weird decision to say the least. Pancakes was right in front of him, and he still ended up going for the drop, and now it's just Ohai in a 1v3, still just about 11 seconds left. The crossfire between Pancakes. And again, his teammate was more than enough. 5 to 6 scoreline, because here on map 3, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we might see the same half scoreline for all 3 maps. I mean, if that's not a testament to how close these two squads actually are, I don't know what is.
Yeah, both so close. I mean, this half in general has been really back and forth. Good control from Complexity in those 4 rounds they won in a row. And then Equinox in their 3 rounds. And even the beginning looks really good. So given the bye, we could definitely see a 6-6. And Like you said, a perfect testament to how close this game has been. Ohai face planting into the sign in what could be a very crucial round moving forward. But regardless, lockdown goes in, forcing players back. But how do they adjust? Tex will drop a paint shell grenade, looking for the fight. Ohai, though, is clean enough to win it. Needs only one frag for the showstopper. He is clearing out all of heaven, but cute Fat Boy once more. Through a smoke, finds a frag and evens us out to a 4v4. The site is theirs, however, Complexity. Spike will go down in the default, actually in the back right. So now Complexity, how do they lock this down? There's a revive available, a neural theft, and if Mino wants to get crazy, which he is now, the Blade Storm.
Blade Storm from Mina and a revival from DXN onto Tex over in heaven. Nade might be able to do a bit of damage, but ends up leaving out a little bit of space. Ohai, his position was already exposed over towards this area. Not only that, but the boombot coming in. Tex able to get a kill onto XP3. Now it's just the take onto site. AGM, the only person remaining over towards this area. Now Ohai, now in a 1v4. The spike is almost completely away from him, and that's Equinox. Perfectly and fundamentally done, as almost flawlessly, they win out the round to finish off the half. 6-6, Sully.
Four maps in a row, or 3 maps in a row, apologies.
3
3 half times at the same scoreline. Doesn't get better than that. Complexity. They're on the defense here now, though. This is maybe where things can change up. I would love to see, perhaps, if they want to get aggressive, right? Those blinding lights, at least can probably go down easily towards mid, get so much information. But I'm curious to see how they play this one. Haven't seen too much, again, of Complexity on Split. Mentioned it earlier. 2 maps played in the last, I think, 2 months, or it could just be 1 month, but Complexity. Split is far and few for them. And Equinox, not a lot to go off of in that first half. Again, tied 6-6, as close as we can get it, folks. We'll see how this one pans out. The pistol round. Is this what could at least give us an inkling as to what's going to happen? Early paranoia to give Mina control. Sharky's good enough to dash away and caught out by AGM. Not prepared whatsoever. So Complexity aggressive towards A to find the first frag.
And again, unbelievably, there's actually 3 in heaven for Complexity. They're trying to hard fight this approach, but XP3 needs this frag to make it worth it. And no way! Pancakes all on his lonesome, able to get 3. I mean, that has to be the most populated hold of heaven that we've seen all game, and Complexity is the one to lose it out. Unreal. Well done by Pancakes once again. Always seems to come up clutch in the tightest of scenarios, but well, AGM, last person remaining now in a 1v3, and it's Pancakes with a 4K. What an opening to the pistol round.
Exactly what you needed. Pancakes popping off. That looked so scrappy up in heaven. Could have gone either way. Huge paranoia from XP3, but I think it's Sharky wasn't able to capitalize. Yeah, here's the fight. It's Jonah P actually, and then I think Sharky in the back there as well. So you said it as well. XP3 needed that frag. Pancakes goes big. He goes huge in Complexity. Well, they're going to pay for it. 7-6. They pick up the pistol round. We know Complexity. It's another 4 spy, and if the trend continues, they could be looking to make the round conversion in the second. Tally it up to 4 here. Good info.
Yeah, decent at least. Not able to find anything over towards mid. It's really just Equinox going fairly slow. Complexity. I mean, it looks as if Equinox is just giving a little bit too much space early on, but I mean that's really the nature of defaults, right? You're just trying to find your opponents to really enforce the interaction, enforce the frags, and you end up capitalizing on back. So again, just good patience from Equinox, but they're not able to get any early kills or really any early information out of it, but instead now they finally do end up making their takeover. And Ohai, he was waiting for at least some players to make their way out of B main, but the dash in from Mina opens things up. Jonah P able to take down Mina though, and now DXN comes in huge. There's now 2 players remaining for Complexity, and they're both out in the way. Sharky tries his best long range with a stinger, but Complexity with the stingers that they ended up forcing up to buy, well, it hasn't really come up big for them. AGM, he ended up buying up both a stinger and full armor, and again, the task is just too high. It's going to be 8-6 going over towards Equinox in a quiet round for them, but they end up striking at the perfect time, Sully.
All right, yeah, keeping 4 players alive as well, catching players completely off guard. A great exec. Wall goes up. Mina creates space. They capitalize on the player, isolated on top of the boxes. Good as it can get. The bread and butter. They actually don't walk away with 4 players. AGM makes that a very costly round and nearly even finds 4. That would have been huge. So this is no longer the bonus that we expected for Equinox exiting that round. They've got to make 3 big investments. And Complexity, this round more so than ever, is all about economic damage. Pull as many guns away as you can out of Equinox. You could seriously hurt their economy, but at least for now, Equinox will be fine. Tech's the only one that's down in the dumps alongside DXN. 400 credits between the two of them. Complexity, 4 sheriffs and a marshal. They are really looking on to pack some damage here in terms of economics.
And we've seen a couple of eco rounds go awry already. I mean, this map had a very slight one, especially from AGM, but you would never expect that. Jonah P relying on his aim as always. This guy is just nuts. Up close with the Marshal, able to get the headshot. And now 3 players for Equinox. Over towards the bottom mid area with one coming in from sewers. And, well, it's really just going to have to come down to Ohai, who has to take on this corner interaction, but can't get anything done. The readjustment from Complexity has led their players over towards the A site. 3 players in that area, but Equinox, it doesn't seem like they're going to fall for that trap at all. With just about 50 seconds left, all 4 players for Equinox heading right into B main.
There's only one here, XP3 in the heaven. No chance he's going to recognize the threat. Won't be able to drop a smoke to delay, and by that time, it's far too late. Smoke up in heaven, paranoid to the back. By Pancakes to ensure the round win. Spike will go down here. And now Equinox looking to minimize the damages that Complexity are going to try and pack on. Remember, it's all about economic damage here. The more guns they can take away from Equinox, the better. And they've got nothing to lose here, Gus. So Equinox will be on a high alert to ensure that nothing leaves their hands in these 4 players. You never know, Complexity. Jonah P with a Marshal up top. The Stingers and the Sheriffs to accompany.
Pancakes on the front lines, taking down Jonah P, but the Sheriffs are coming up big. Able to get at least one back, but Pancakes in a beautiful position and actually able to get a second beaming through the smoke. Here's XP3 just walking around, and Sharky, well, again, it's just Sharky with a Sheriff, isn't it? Able to get 3, but DXN with great timing, shutting down what was Sharky starting to heat up a little bit. I mean, we've been without Sharky's stellar frag since the very beginning of map number 2, and well, at least we're glad to see it back, but it doesn't equate into a round for Complexity. But what it does equate into, Sully, is that economic damage. You already know how it is. Equinox now, they have to rebuy almost everything in their arsenal. They have the full util, yes. They have the full firepower, yes. But they might come down to what might be a reset within maybe 1 or 2 rounds if Complexity keeps winning. And oh boy, Complexity could find their way back.
Oh, Tech's nearly overwhelmed by the Seekers, takes down both of them. And one of them is stuck. And he's, yeah, that Seeker's vibing, man. He's doing a wiggle. There's the bird. Yeah, okay, well,
going on?
they get basically what they wanted off a Seeker. They get info. That's what matters most off of the blinding light. But you invest a little extra utility. It's you know, truly tragic. Sometimes Seekers, their GPS system gets a little wonky, so it makes it a little bit harder to track the players. However, tracking this slow orb into heaven, Sharky is the one here in heaven, but he misses every single blade. I think only one ended up connecting, and now he's in a dicey position. Is forced to back away. Mina looking to latch onto this control. AGM still putting up a fight as he takes down one. There seems to be something with sentinels and screens. They always are able to find something. A 4v4, and the Killjoy ultimate has gone down. The spike is down, however, and Mina's still up top. Needs to be big, but Ohai with the backstab. There's no chance he recognizes it. And 2v2 Equinox. The investments made in Complexity battle back.
They battle back for now, but Pancakes currently hot on their trail in terms of frags. Gonna be able to get another one? No, it's actually Tex that takes it away. Ohai defusing right in the middle of the smoke, and damage coming in, but Ohai within a pixel, within milliseconds, but Pancakes again comes up massive. That was Complexity's chance to break apart this entire game in half. But instead, Equinox, they can continue their momentum. But what a play at the very end. I mean, Ohai, I mean, you've heard the saying pros don't fake, but that one, oh, he was hard depending on Equinox just missing on their shots.
Full spray through it. I mean, of the 60 bullets that both of them shot, a few of them, a small percentage had to land, and thankfully at the last second they do get it done. So close for Ojai. And Equinox, we said the economic damage was going to be massive in the last one. Well, it still is prevalent. 3 players lost, but because of the round win in the last, they can't accommodate more of an investment here. But Ojai looking for some reprimandations from the last round. Smoke in his face. They are trying to adjust, but cute fat boy on the lurk. Need that exit. And in case Equinox need, he's ready here on the A site. 1 player left on the A. It's Sharky, who will try and contest. Can't imagine much he'll be able to put up much of a fight. But you never know with this share. Anything is possible, and he sits, waits, rings some shots out. Lots of damage done into Mina, however. And Sharky does put this in a weird position where Equinox are now maybe a little bit more timid because of these sheriffs that he has rung out early on.
I think that's a little bit more semantics in a sense because, yeah, Sharky could definitely pop off, but it's a man advantage. Not only that, but the rifle's fully in their control. And, well, speak of the devil, Sharky really the last remaining out of that massacre in ramp. And Equinox just didn't care. They go for full swings over in ramp. I mean, definitely unexpected. You rarely ever see that, but Mina, so sharp on the aim. Takes down Ojai as he tries to get a little bit of a cheeky jump for the info, but nothing of the sort. Equinox, they have an 11, Sully. Complexity, look at their economy. It's about to get busted open. Equinox, if they win this round, I would be remiss to say that this one is over.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit too early to tell. Who knows? Complexity. We've seen eco rounds, but yeah, the position they'd be put in after this one would be dramatic, to say the least. We'll see if they can pull it off. That operator, at least for Sharky, it'll get info, but that info doesn't matter if they're going for a 5-player hit. Jet dash, and not only that, a showstopper at the ready. Tex is looking to explode, and on the site he goes, but he's taking out a turret. Ojai's landed his, however. 1-for-1 trade, but it only is in showstoppers and only a kill for Complexity. They slow down here, Equinox, and rotations have been made, but they can't cancel.
No
but
way.
full blinded Pancakes finds a massive kill. The TP back to B to clear things out, but Pancakes knows the pressure on his shoulders. He's got to clear it out, and then he's got to get control. 3 seconds left for the smoke, and Complexity, they're running miles on this map. And Equinox, they still are undecided if they want to commit.
Sully, there's still AGM over towards the A side. Not only that, but Complexity, they still have a little bit of attention over towards B, but they don't want to get that control just yet. Instead, Equinox, they have a full free avenue to make their way on and a long rotation. Complexity, they could have just went all in on this site. They could have tried to fight Pancakes, but Equinox, they make that full long rotation happen back over towards their spawn. And now they're safe. Now they have the spike down. And now it's just a hard battle. 4v4, folks. And Complexity, they need it all. They need this one for the win. Or even a chance for the win. 2 players approaching in from heaven. Complexity has 2 more and lower. And in they go. Full
what a flash!
Smoke. Jonah B! That's a massive placement. But Pancake's able to get 2. Still one around the corner. Hey, Pancakes again gets himself a 4th. AGM 1v2, and that's an ace for Pancakes. He's been absolutely massive here on Splits, and he puts the dagger in the souls of Complexity.
Now 1 more round. The dagger is deep, but it's not finished yet. Complexity, a little bit of a life in them. They've got a buy, but it's one that is so shaky. Equinox, they've got everything going for them. Even if Complexity were to win this one, we need 5 in a row, 6 from here on out at least, Complexity, to bring us to at least OT, to keep the dream of the open qualifier #1 of the VALORANT Champions Tour alive. And Complexity, they are hanging on by a thread. Equinox, after the first 2 close maps, this one seems to be a wash, but you never know. Complexity, can they hold it out? Mina, ready for the aggression with Pancakes. They're able to pick off the first, and now it's just Ojai who has to deal with 2 people swinging on him.
Again, it's a decent decision, but it's more or less known at this point. But there you go. Lots of pressure. Mina now getting healed up by the Sage. That's wonderfully done. Still, Ojai has to get this kill onto DXN, and it simply won't happen. Sharky with the Sheriff looking for something in mid, but Tex is there. And not only that, but Equinox. They rebuild their roster and they're able to get themselves all 5 players here on the map. Ready, alive, and raring to go. XP3 around the corner would have to go massive, but it doesn't happen. He's only able to get one and a little bit of damage onto another. Last person remaining is AGM. 1v4. He's up in heaven. Barely any util. No util at all. It's slow and steady. Complexity. The team. They've had so many laborious runs in tournaments, but for challengers number 1, it seems like Equinox, they had their number for the last 2 maps, and now AGM, somehow, he needs to bring it on back, but it won't happen. Ladies and gentlemen, Equinox, that was fundamental, that was textbook, they're going to win. Split 13-6, and they win the set over Complexity 2-1.
They make it to the round of 16, but they have got another blockade in their way. But let's not reminisce or at least look to the future just yet. Equinox, this best of 3 series, it was not easy, it was long, it was labored, but they got it done in the end in 2-1 fashion. Like you said, the first 2 maps, what a series from Complexity. They look like a whole new team, but we said that Complexity, if they wanted to close out the series, it needed to be 2-0, but they couldn't get it done. Now let's take a little bit of a recap on our maps. We've got a nice replay package coming up, and boy, there were so many highlight plays, not in just Split, not in just Ascent, but in every single map. It felt like there was so much going on.
Every single map, it seemed like at least 1 or 2 players on the server were absolutely popping off, just trying to get as many highlight plays as possible. And one of the best plays of the day, of course, it had to be Sharky. Incredibly early on into the Ascent game, able to get himself a nice, clean 3K with the Deagle. But even then, he gets another one, right? He gets yet another banger of a round. I mean, it's almost incredible to me, right, that these players can actually maintain the momentum. But Mina, I mean, I mentioned play of the day. This one might have been it. Mina, 4K in 1 fell swoop in just 1 clip. And, I mean, he brought back the shotgun, technically. He gets it up for a singular frag, but, I mean, with the classic, I mean, you use it as a right click, and it's essentially a shotgun to that point. So, Mina with a whole lot of the highlight frags, and even then, Equinox, they didn't exactly depend on it. It was very fundamental, really, from both of these sides. It could have been anyone's game. Complexity, they just weren't able to really get some space in that second half, though.
Yeah, the third map was definitely a lot rougher for Complexity. You're on the attack. It's always going to be a lot more difficult. But, I mean, throughout this entire series, it felt like there isn't really one player we can pinpoint. I feel like we can obviously look at maybe Cute Fatboy, who I thought had a very stellar best of 3 series. And on the side of Complexity, I mean, it kind of juggled back, right? XP3 had times where he popped off. AGM, I mean, everybody, especially Sharky, I think, had the most consistent game of Complexity. Complexity, they're a team to be on the watch out for. I mean, the next qualifiers are just around the corner. They look good, and they seem ready for revenge. But Equinox, they take the series, and, well, they move on to face Envy in their round of 16.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching again the Valorant Challengers. We still have the round of 16 coming up, and just to set the scene, 8 teams from today's games will make their way into the closed qualifiers. So this last round already has huge ramifications here for the entire Valorant Champions Tour. You guys do not want to miss it. But before we go, we wanted to give a quick thank you to our sponsor in HyperX. I mean, first of all, they are the pinnacle of comfort. Do you know why I know that? I do wear a headset, in fact, and it's a HyperX headset. One of the only headsets that actually fits around this massive dome. So I don't think I have to say really anything else. Shout outs to HyperX for supporting the Valorant Championship Tour. They are the official Valorant Challenger sponsor for peripherals and DRAM. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back with our next game of this tournament. We don't exactly know which one quite yet, but there have been a couple of upsets. We'll talk about it when we're back from the break.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
I feel like I need to defend my scene's honor here, because this is just turning into a bit of a dog battle.
Like in groups always look.
I'm cutting you off here. I'm cutting you off. Cutting you off. He said G2's winning it. He said G2's winning it.
We need to wait till the next EU tournament, which could be in about 10 years now.
Take it with like a grain of salt.
No,
but
that's
that
no
being
fun.
said,
Take it super literally.
Spike defused.